Hey everyone, if you follow the news from Bangkok, you may have heard that things have gotten much worse here recently. And as of right now, it feels like we're at a major tipping point. On one side, there's potential disaster looming, and on the other side is where Thailand battles down COVID successfully yet again and says, "Get out of here, COVID." In this video, I'm going to give you an update on the situation here with a focus on making sure that you know the real deal on the ground here in Bangkok. And while updating you, I'm going to walk around to a few different areas and you'll be able to see in the background what it looks and feels like these days. So let's get into it. My name's Chris and I'm retired working for you. And if you're new here, I normally make fun and informative videos about things to do in Thailand. But these days, Bangkok is about as much fun as waking up the next morning and realizing that hot girl you picked up the night before is now offering you sausage with your breakfast.
She's not Louis Einhorn. She's Ray Finkel. She's a man.
I'm not speaking from experience, I swear. On a much more serious note, I'm here outside the Khlong Toei neighborhood where, to quote the Bangkok Post, the air is thick with fear of contagion. If you're unfamiliar with this part of Bangkok, it's known as the biggest slum in the city, housing over 100,000 residents. The housing is crammed into a tiny little footprint where families are all sharing a one-room place, even sleeping in the same room together. It's not uncommon for families here to have 10 or more people living under one very small roof. From grandparents to grandchildren, they also usually share a single toilet. So it's not hard to see that living in these conditions, the virus is currently winning the battle here. Although segregated from the affluent parts of Bangkok, it's located much closer than you'd think. In fact, I walked here from the world-famous Sukhumvit Road, and in just about 20 minutes by foot, I went from Louis Vuitton to the tracks here, which marked the informal boundary into this community. And I use the word community intentionally. Slum has such a negative connotation. I actually did a video about this community and I'm really proud of it. I'll leave a link to it at the end of this video and I encourage you to go check that out. It's very interesting, and at that time I was able to go deep into this community, whereas today I'm going to stick out here on the perimeter as I'm not really sure just how bad the COVID situation is in there. And it's not just here in Khlong Toei. A further 1,270 similar communities here in Bangkok have also been identified, with the largest concern focused on the Khlong Prem Prakakorn community, which houses more than 10,000 people, along with those in the Ratatouille and Wang Long Tang districts, housing 3,000 residents each. Many who live here survive on less than 150 Thai baht per day, meaning that it's absolutely essential that they continue going out into the city for their daily work. The headlines in the nation today question whether these communities will become a COVID time bomb in the coming weeks, and Thai PBS World said outbreaks in these communities could spell disaster for Bangkok. Reports are that it's so bad here that one of the sub-communities has already opened their own makeshift isolation center. So what's happening is that people who have COVID move themselves to this center and stay there until help hopefully arrives to take them to a proper hospital for treatment. The idea of this is to keep those infected in one place to try and prevent further spread. In a community like this, where social distancing is nothing more than a pipe dream, the fear is growing that this neighborhood and others like it will face the same fate as we're seeing in India. And with many residents commuting to work all across Bangkok each day, fear around town is that Khlong Toei will become a super spreader hub. To try and prevent this, the government is working to speed up a vaccination drive in this area while also ramping up a mass testing campaign, with Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha himself stating the urgency to deliver doses to this community. Before I continue, I need to fuel up here, and I'm gonna do it right here at Hat Yai Chicken. I'm in the Bang Chak neighborhood, and this is a great street with a ton of local street vendors. This is my favorite fried chicken in all of Bangkok. If you like fried chicken, I'd suggest you find this man. Annie? How right, crap?
40 บาทครับผม
Oh yeah, look at that juicy goodness. All right. Okay, this is Sukhumvit Soi 93. It's one of those great streets lined with street food. If you ever want to find it, just look for the giant charcoal colored condo and then come down here. Now, back on topic, we were talking about vaccines, and I do have a quick update for you there. Earlier this week, reports came out that said that foreigners in Thailand would be treated equally with the Thais and therefore be able to book June vaccination appointments immediately and then receive the jab for free. The next day, the Public Ministry of Health denied these reports, and a spokesman said, and I quote, "The vaccines right now are only reserved for Thai people and those people at high risk or living in severe outbreak areas." This really pissed off a bunch of expats here, the ones who live here, and there was a lot of rage that came out on social media. And then today, the CCSA, which is Thailand's COVID task force, clarified, saying that foreigners will indeed be included in the program for the vaccines, but it'll start in phase 2, which begins in June. Phase 1, which went from February until June, was only for frontline workers and those in danger zones. And in fact, some foreigners were in that group and did receive their shots already. So there you go. And just today, the chief of the Private Hospital Association of Thailand announced that the Moderna vaccine will be available in their private hospital network. No time frame was given, but it seems that for a price of 3,000 Thai baht, which is roughly $100 US, people will be able to pay if they want to go this route. This is going to work in parallel with the government program. So people going this private route are still going to be required to register via what's called the More Prom app. And this is an app that's a central system here in Thailand, and it's being used to allow for the efficient data collection of the nationwide vaccination efforts. Woo! I'm out of breath. Whew, that was a lot of talking. I would say I deserve an ice cold Leo. I found this little quiet, dank corner here in Bangkok to enjoy this. And I'm gonna do a live stream this weekend, but it's gonna be a little bit different. This is gonna be a pay it forward live stream. Should be pretty wild. I don't know when I'm gonna do it, but for those of you on the email list, the inner circle, I'm gonna send out an email announcement so you won't miss it. If you're not on the email list, there's a link in the description. Just head over to our website and sign up, and you'll also get the notice. I don't know what's gonna happen in that live stream. It should be quite interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Here's hoping things get better here sooner rather than later. And I'm gonna see you guys real soon. Cheers.